to come and address the city council?
Mayor Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney. I know we don't have many speakers, but just a reminder about the agenda item rule for the opening speakers.
Would you say that again? Yeah, I know. Mr. City Attorney, would you please state for the record what the parameters are for speaking?
Thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, when you opened the item, and as we have in the agenda, this opening public comment period is specifically for people who would like to speak on an agenda item, and the agenda item needs to be for action. That's not to discourage people from participating. We have citizens participation at the end of the meeting. This is a state law requirement under NRS 241. The opening period should be limited to action on to speaking on items that are available for action, and the reason is so we can manage our meeting. We want to hear what you have to say about action items and proceed to those items accordingly, and that's not, again, to discourage anyone from coming up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would you state your name for the record?
Stephanie Phillips, Political Director for Veterans in Politics, and I'm speaking on agenda item 25. Good morning, Madam Mayor and Council. I listened to the discussion from the previous council meeting where you discussed how you would go about setting up a selection panel to review and interview candidates for judicial vacancies. I was surprised there wasn't any written policy or formal procedures already in place on the matter. Also, I was disturbed that public involvement and participation was not mentioned once in all that discussion. The city didn't post the list of applicants for public view, nor was the public invited to participate in the interview process. I have attended multiple hearings at the Judicial Selection Commission. I respectfully submit the following be considered for written policies and procedures for the city's judicial selection process. Panel member selection should be a mix of members of public, possible former judges, business owners, attorneys, all representative of each ward. Panel members should not be city council members, nor any City of Las Vegas employees. Much like the Judicial Selection Commission, the commission is made up of a mix of members from all over Nevada with various business backgrounds and are appointed by the governor and Nevada Bar. In the same way, your selection panel should consist of a mix of residents who apply for this position from each ward. Council members would review each applicant and appoint those who would be seated on the selection panel for a period of 2 years. Once a vacancy occurs, the city should post that vacancy on their website with a filing deadline for applicants. Once the deadline has been reached, the city should post all applicants and their bios on the city website. Post the time, date, and location well in advance on the city's website, notifying the public of the upcoming interviews where the selection panel would narrow down the applicants to the top 3. Invite the public to participate in public comment at the beginning of the interview process. If I could have a few more seconds, Madam Mayor.
Make a few, very few.
Provide an email address where the public can send in letters of support or opposition that would be forwarded to the selection panel. Post the selection panel's 3 finalists on the city's website. The public's participation in this process is of utmost importance. The public pays your salaries and elects you to your positions. Everything you do is for the public. Judges can severely impact a person's
Ms. Stephanie, we're about 22 seconds over.
I'll finish it in the next.
Ms. Stephanie, if I could ask you to submit that, the recommendations to the clerk, I would appreciate that so we can take it into consideration.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're very welcome. Would anyone else like to address the City Council in public comments? Would you please state your name for the record?
Good morning, Mayor, City Council. Steve Sanson, President of Veterans in Politics and Nevada Veterans Association. I'm here to speak on agenda item 25, judicial selection. I have concerns about the lack of transparency regarding the selection process for an applicant to fill a vacancy for a judge. Please keep in mind this is an elected position and this comes with a different set of standards. You're not selecting a position for the HR director, fire chief, or the city attorney. Whoever you choose will be on the 2026 ballot. A judge impacts your life immediately and on a very personal level. When I watched the December 4th City Council meeting, agenda item number 47, I was amazed that this council didn't have a policy in place. I knew that Judge Cynthia Leon would retire, so I constantly refreshed the city's website to find out which applicants and panel members were participating in this process. To my amazement, nothing was posted, but I found out when the interview were being held. On January 6th, I attempted to gain access, but was denied by Sue Brown, Deputy HR Director. I was told that filling a vacancy for an elected seat was not open to the public. I was discouraged by this, and I requested that the HR Director contact me. That same day, Vincent Zamora, Director of Human Resources, and I spoke. I stated that if you're going to mirror the Nevada Judicial Selection Commission, the following needs to be in place. All applicants and panel members should be made public. The public should be able to participate by email or in person. The interview should be live streamed. 3 names should be sent to the council. No members of the city council should sit on an initial panel because they're the ones who would decide on who's going to be a judge. This practice would maintain the integrity and the impartiality of the judicial selection process. Mr. Zamora told me that many applicants don't want their names to be made public because they don't want their employer to know that they're seeking another employment. My reply to this was that they're already deceitful and should not be on the bench. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to address the city council at